Well, good morning everybody. Today we got a brand new update, version 2019 24.4. Super excited to take it out on the freeway today. We're going to be doing some navigate on autopilot. We're also going to be putting it in Mad Max mode. One thing different I'm going to do today is I'm going to make it so I have to initiate the lane changes. Currently, if you have it on the system doing the lane changes, you have to hold on to the steering wheel, and then once it notices you're there, it'll go ahead and attempt to make the lane change. One thing I don't like about that is it puts on the blinker the whole time. So you'll see in the video, I'm gonna go ahead and be initiating all the lane changes, and let's see how she does on this new autopilot. On the last version, it was doing pretty well, holding the lanes really tight, making good lane changes. Let's hit the road. Welcome back everybody. We've got a brand new update, 2019 24.4. Let's take a quick look at the release notes. So in this update, we've got a CHAdeMo adapter support, Sketchpad improvements, and owner manual improvements. One thing I noticed when I got in the car after the update is that my flash drive for the Sentry mode and the cameras was full, and it gave me an actual warning saying that you need to erase the data. So that's pretty cool. So we're going to be doing some navigate on autopilot today, everybody. Let's take a look at our settings. Go on to autopilot, customize, navigate on autopilot. We're going to be in Mad Max mode. Required lane confirmation I put on yes, and any type of notifications I have those off. So it's going to be displaying the notifications on the screen when it wants us to make a lane change, and I'm going to be initiating the blinker to make the lane changes. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hit the road. Alright, we're going to put it in autopilot as soon as we get on the entrance ramp here. Goal is to try to leave it on as much as I can without intervening. And we're in autopilot. Hands are off, feet are off. Hands are close by though, because we are a new update. She's speeding up a little bit. There we go. Alright, so let's go ahead and see what happens here. Speeding up. Oh my goodness, slowing down. Alright, she got in there, that was good. I was thinking about putting the blinker on, but decided not to. Alright, we have the entrance for the freeway coming up here, and wow, it did really good there. Didn't even pull into the other lane at all. Now we're getting a notification saying we need to put our hands on the wheel. I'm going to go ahead and scroll up the volume there. And there's a couple of different ways when you get that alert. You can scroll the volume, you can change the speed, or you can give it a little bit of pressure on the steering wheel, and that'll so we're following behind this car. We've got quite a bit of traffic pulling up on behind us here. I've got the cruise distance follow set to 3. It's one of my favorite settings is 3. I don't like to be too close to the other cars when I'm following, or too far to let people in. I did get a comment on one of my other videos that when I'm driving in the slow lane and we've got traffic coming onto the freeway merging, that they want to see what autopilot does to react to it. Previously I would, use the blinker and have autopilot change lanes prior to the cars pulling up on the freeway, because I think that's kind of the thing to do. But today we're just going to let Autopilot handle it, see if it wants us to move lanes, see what happens when another car merges into the freeway. And we are on Mad Max mode, so it's going to give us the most attempts at lane changes. So I'm going to go ahead and speed it up to 75, 10 over the speed limit. Having it a little bit above the speed limit will give us the opportunity to challenge Autopilot and make it attempt to make lane changes. I'm also super excited for the new update coming up by the end of the year. They're going to be enabling stop signs and stop light detection for city driving. Super excited to see how that rolls out. I've been following Teslafy, the Tesla update tracker, and right now we're on 24.4. It's the latest version that's been updated as of yesterday when I checked the site. Previously we were on 20.2.1, I believe. I had that update for about 3 weeks. Alright, it's giving us slight turning force of the steering wheel. So if you just push it just a little bit, it'll detect your hands. And then again, you can use the speed and the volume controls, and that'll clear the notification there. Okay, it's asking me to do a lane change. So if you notice, it's not putting the blinker on now. That's exactly what I was talking about earlier. So that way, you know it's asking to do a lane change, but you don't have to have your blinker on the whole time. I just initiated the blinker. Autopilot's doing the lane change. Here we go. I like it a lot better not telling you to hold the wheel to initiate the lane change right now. The reason being is it seems like there's a delay between it noticing your hands there and it actually making the lane change. So the blinker will be on sometimes for a ridiculous amount of time, which kind of annoys the drivers behind us. On that note though, when they come out with Autopilot being able to do the lane changes automatically without any type of hands-on confirmation, now that's when I would love to use it. Because I think Autopilot needs to make quicker lane changes, be more aggressive. So if it can do that all by itself and not ask me for input, then it can make the lane change quicker, in my opinion. So we're just following behind this Toyota here. We're doing about 70 miles an hour. We've got the speed limit set to 75. If you notice that it'll stay dark gray, and then once it knows it's not in the route anymore, it goes to light gray, and that's when it'll speed up again. So anytime you see a dark gray vehicle on the display here, it's locked onto that car, and it won't go faster than it. I've noticed sometimes you'll see a car in the right lane, and all of a sudden Tesla locks onto it and smashes on the brakes. It's not even in our lane or anything. So it's a good way to see really quick at a glance if you're locked onto the wrong car, if you're in Autopilot. Apply slight turning force. We'll go ahead and just put a little bit of pressure there. Coming up on some traffic. We'll see what Autopilot does. The speed limit changed here to 55, but this was under construction. It's actually 65. So far this update is doing fantastic. It's holding the lane well. It's not ping-ponging too much. It's staying nice and solid. We've got a car behind us trying to push, but there's really nowhere to go. was just testing to see if the windshield wiper would make the notification go away, and it didn't. We're kind of stuck in this little pocket here. Getting a little bit of rain this morning here in Las Vegas. Temperature is 88 degrees, just under 10 a.m. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and initiate a lane change to the right lane just to let this traffic go. And did that very well. Now we got some traffic coming up here on the entrance. We got a truck in the front and another slower truck on the right. Let's see what Autopilot does here. We're at full speed now, doing 75. You're gonna see this truck here pop up on the radar shortly. Let's see, there it is right there. Let's see if it's jumping into our lane. Should go dark now. Autopilot's gonna lock onto it. It is darker. You notice it darker actually in the slower lane. So when it moved over, it was already slowing down. You can see the difference in this car here, which is lighter. So we're following this truck at 65 now. Let's go ahead and bump it up to 80. So, oops. I went ahead and bumped it up to 80 just to try to get Mad Max to do some lane changes. It was asking me to move to the right lane before I turned off the camera here on the rear. We're slowing down. Alright, so it wants me to do a right lane change. I'm going to go ahead and initiate the lane change. It's locked onto the car in front of me. Bag in the road, and the truck got it. I put my hands on the wheel because I was about to make an emergency maneuver to dodge the bag. I don't like hitting things on the freeway, even if they're trash. So Autopilot's got us in the slow lane, just cruising behind this car. We've got a lot of traffic coming up here. Let's see what Autopilot does. And again, normally I would initiate the lane change and move over to let this traffic merge in, but we're just going to let Autopilot do it. This truck wants to get in, got the arrow on, and let's see if they move over. And Autopilot detects it, slows down, asking for a lane change to the left. So we've got a car coming up on the left. It wants us to do the lane change. And this is what I was talking about earlier. It doesn't put on the blinker. It lets you know you have the lane change coming up. Shows that it's blocked right now, which is awesome. But we're going to do the blinker just like it wanted us to, even though it timed out there. Remember everybody, this is just a test to see how Navigate on Autopilot does when we have the required lane change confirmation on and the notifications off for lane changes. So it wants us to change lanes to the left. We're going to go ahead and do it. So far, what I've noticed on this new update is that the Mad Max mode isn't so aggressively crazy. Before it would move me into the fast lane, then back into the slow lane, and then back into the fast lane without any regard to what the other traffic was really doing. Today, it seems like it's a little bit more tame, a little bit more true to how it should work. Got traffic on the rear. Doing 80 miles an hour in the fast lane. upcoming lane change coming up. So it shows the line here that I have a lane change coming up, but it's not actually telling me to do the lane change. If I wanted to, I could tap here to cancel that lane change. We're just getting a little bit closer to our exit. So it just wants us to get prepared, I think. Alright, so it wants us to do the right lane change. We just initiated it. So far I'm digging this new update. Seems very smooth, a lot more refined. As well as the last update was like that as well. It was a lot better than the previous 2 or 3. Usually they take a step back every time, but the last couple updates have been major improvements. Just in the quality of the feel. Okay, we got a car. Is it gonna jump in? It is jumping in, and we see it. We're braking hard. We went from 80 to 70 in about half a second. We're locked onto it. Did that pretty well. I'll go ahead and initiate it. Clear behind us. Moving up on some slower traffic here on the right. See how long it keeps us in the fast lane. The update has got that much better that it's not doing such crazy lane changes, or if the traffic is just flowing really well today. It's really hard to tell, but I mean, autopilot and being on navigate on autopilot right now feels super smooth. Definitely feels better than the last update. Getting close to the exit. We're about 2.8 miles away. It should start giving us some type of indication to move over. And we're coming up on a little bit of construction. So it got the upcoming lane change, and you can see it's 2 lanes over here. That's where it wants us to get to. Let's wait for an actual indication that it wants to change lanes. Should come up anytime there. There it is. We're going to go ahead and change lanes. Got some construction here where the lines are kind of off a little. Been handling that well. Another lane change to the right, initiated. Got traffic coming up on the rear. but it looked like this guy would, I felt like he wanted to get in our lane, so had to take an evasive maneuver there. Alright, we're back. Alright, so we locked onto this Toyota. He's going really slow, 62. The car behind us probably really creeped up. I wasn't even watching it. I do hope that in the future they make the autopilot and the braking system for the regen a little bit more sensitive to trigger the brake lights a little bit quicker. I do love that the brake lights do trigger when you let off the brake when it goes on regen, but I think there's a little bit of a delay. I'd like it to happen a little quicker so the people behind us can respond a little bit faster. And to tell you the truth, guys, I'm not sure why it's not doing all these lane changes. It might be that I don't have it doing it on its own. We go ahead and initiate the lane change. The car behind me wants to move, and if you notice, they cut me off on the rear, so Autopilot's not doing the lane change. Let's let both of these, I'm just going to speed up. Alright, we're going to have to get in here ourselves, guys. So it saw that Audi speeding up behind us a little bit too aggressively, so it didn't make the lane change. And after all said and done, it ran out of room. I had to go ahead and take over. But thank you very much for watching, everybody. That's our test of the new update 2019 24.4. Autopilot is running super smooth. Super excited for the future of Autopilot and everything that comes with it. Again, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.